Hi everyone, I'm Sarah and this is my channel, So Sarah Sewed. Stick around if you're interested in hearing about my second week of Me Made May. Throughout May, I am aiming to wear me-made items every day and share them in an Instagram story. And I thought it would be nice to then chat through a little bit in more detail on a video each week as well. Last week, I talked a little bit about what Me Made May is and what my own goals were for the month. So if you missed that, I'll link to last week's video. But today, I'm just going to get straight into what I wore each day. So let's go back to day 8. Now, one of the things I'm trying to do this May is to try different combinations that I mightn't have tried before. And this was something I tried last week on the 8th of May. A couple of years ago, I made the So Faded sweater, which is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. And it's knit with fingering weight yarn and you make a fade from it. There isn't a set number of how many different colors that you use. I used 5 different colors and I used a kit that I bought from a dyer in Europe. It was called Yarn to You. And actually the kit had 6 different yarns in it, but I used 5. So mine has a really, really subtle fade effect, but I absolutely love it. I really enjoyed knitting this and seeing how the fade came together. I really like wearing it too, because it's made of a fingering weight yarn. It's quite a lightweight knit. It's quite a fitted one as well. So I have to admit though that I do find it hard to find things to pair this with. I find that I wear cardigans more often because I'm often wearing pinafores and I can throw a cardigan over the top, but a jumper and quite a fitted jumper, it's taking a little bit more thought to be able to pair it with other items in my wardrobe. So on the 8th, I decided to try wearing it with a clot bias skirt, which is a pattern by Soften Studio. And I made this in a linen that I bought from Spotlight. The fade set that I used, I think it was based on the idea of earth. And so while it starts quite pink and light, as the fade develops, there are more and more earthy kind of tones in there, including some beautiful dark greens. And so I thought I'd pick up on the green by wearing it with this skirt. I actually quite like the colors together. Where I think it didn't quite work was just the sort of different weights. So it felt like I was wearing a winter top with a summer skirt. Even though I had tights and boots on, it just didn't quite feel right. So I'm going to keep experimenting with ways to wear this jumper. But it was fun to try something new. So yeah, as I said, the clot bias skirt is by Soften Studio. It's a great pattern. I've made a few of them. I wear them a lot during the summer. And this particular linen one, I think I'll just stick to wearing it in the warmer weather because yeah, it didn't feel quite right trying to work this into my autumn wardrobe. I filmed last week's video on day 8, so I did talk about this jumper a tiny bit then as well. But it's a beautiful pattern and wearing it last week was a reminder of how much I really love wearing it. I loved making it. It took a lot of effort, so I'm going to make a real effort to ensure that I'm getting a bit more wear out of this one. So day 9, I forgot to mention, if you hear me talking about being at work or school, I am a full-time music teacher and I teach students from, at the moment, ranging from prep through to year 12. So sometimes I spend time with very, very young children, right up to young adults. So on the 9th, this is the day that I have a early before school rehearsal followed by some of my younger students, and that often includes games on the floor, activities on the floor. So when I'm choosing my outfit, I have to make sure that it's practical for those kinds of activities. And I also know that I am likely to get warm. So even though it wasn't a particularly warm day, I chose a top that was short sleeves, and I did end up taking off my cardigan for a lot of this day, especially while I was taking rehearsals. So on this day, I wore some ready-to-wear pants that I had thrifted a few years ago. And to go along with those, I wore an Ashton top, which I added sleeves to using the expansion pack by Helen's Closet. And then I also had a Marlo sweater by True Bias. I absolutely love this combination. I think it works really nicely together. The fabric that I made the Ashton top in is a rayon by Rifle Paper Company, and I love their prints. And I think this one works really, really nicely with the flutter sleeve that I chose for this one. And then it pairs really nicely with that green Marlo sweater as well. So my Marlo sweater I made in the long length, and I made my usual size. Some people size down in this because it's quite oversized, but I like that oversized nature of the top and the fact that it does allow me to fit it over tops that have a little bit more voluminous sleeves, like this flutter sleeve. So really comfortable outfit, and one that I feel really good in, this day 9 outfit. Day 10 was another day that I was quite busy with a lot of teaching and rehearsals. So this was a day that I did have rehearsals from the very youngest in the school up to the bigger students. So again, it was important that I wore layers that I was able to easily remove for when I did get warm. So on the 10th, I was able to debut a new item that I actually just made the previous weekend, and that is a new Aura Pinafore by Soften Studio. I made one of these last year and loved it. It's a beautiful V-neck pinafore. It's very A-line, it's very long, there's a lot of fabric, it's really swishy, and I absolutely love wearing it. I'm only 160 centimeters tall, so I actually took 6 inches off the length of this one. So you can see how long it would be if I hadn't done that. This one I made in a hemp cotton twill fabric I bought from the fabric store last September. I, at that point, was wearing a corduroy one a lot, and I thought it would be great to have a slightly lighter weight one for the spring that we were going into. And I cut it out last year and then just never made it. I think probably because the weather got a bit too warm, and I sort of just left it over the summer. But I recently got it out and sewed it up. This version I made slightly smaller than my corduroy one. So my corduroy one, I find the shoulders have the tendency to sort of slide off. So I decided for this grey one, I had already cut it out, but I realized that I wanted it a little bit smaller than my blue one. So it's got a center seam at the front and the back. I kept those the same seam allowance. But then when it came to sewing the shoulder seams, I made the seam allowance bigger just to sort of lift up the pinafore at the shoulders. And then I also did the side seams a little bit wider seam allowance as well, just to bring it in that tiny bit. And it's actually a really good fit. I'm really happy with it. Everything else I did exactly the same. Because I knew I was going to have quite a busy day and I didn't want to get too hot, I decided to pair the pinafore on Friday with a t-shirt. So I have used the Galaxy Tee pattern by Pattern Scissors Cloth. When I made it, this was a free pattern. It's not anymore, but I do highly recommend this pattern. I love the way it's kind of a t-shirt, but it's got these puffed sleeves that just elevated it, make it that little bit more fancy. So I think this pairs really nicely with the Aura Pinafore. I love that contrast of the very plunging V neckline of the pinafore with quite a high neck. Yeah, I think it looks really nice. And then over the top of this, when I needed it, I had my Marlo sweater on again. And then I just had leggings and flats. I think this combination looked really nice. The t-shirt I've made with a black linen jersey from My Design Fabric. It's a really breathable fabric, and yeah, I was very comfortable in this outfit all day. So the 11th of May was a Saturday. On Saturdays, I spend a lot of the day doing housework. I drive my children to their guitar lesson. And then this Saturday, we really didn't have anything else planned at all. So it was a very casual day. And just like the Saturday before, I ended up wearing my Chanterelle pants, which is a pattern by Liberated. There's a blog post that they've made on how to turn the pants into like a tracksuit pant version using a knit fabric. So mine are in a French terry, and they honestly get so much wear. And I wore a Billie sweater, a Billie sweatshirt by Tilly and the Buttons to go along with that. So I just wanted to be comfortable, but also, you know, look nice enough to be able to go out of the house when I needed to. And yeah, just easy for doing housework and just being around the house. Not much else to say about this outfit except that I was very comfortable all day. I really love this fabric that I used for the Billie. It's a French terry that I got from Nerida Hansen, and the designer is called Margaret Jean. I think it's called something like Landscapes. but it's this abstract kind of landscape design. And I just love the colors, and I think it's a pretty one. So nice to get some wear out of that one too. The 12th of May here was Mother's Day. So we had quite a busy day on Sunday. We had an early morning soccer match about an hour's drive away. So I was rugged up for that. And then I got changed into an outfit for a lovely lunch with all of my family. It was an absolutely perfect day on Sunday. So I ended up wearing a lot of linen. I wore some black linen Pomona pants by Allen. And then I had a bamboo Stellan tee by French Navy, which is a free pattern. And then I also had a heather blazer by Friday Pattern Company. I felt really comfortable in this outfit. It worked for the weather and it worked for the occasion. Looking back at photos, I'm not sure that the outfit is very well balanced because the pants are quite wide and then there's an oversized blazer. So I'm not really sure how much I like these two together, but I was comfortable. I particularly like the top half, so I might find some different ways to pair this blazer and t-shirt. I am definitely in the market for some new jeans. I'm not going to try and make them. I just don't have, it's just not something that I have the interest in making at this point. I'd prefer to just go and try on a whole lot and hopefully find some that I like. But maybe some just straight leg jeans would be a better option with this blazer and t-shirt combination. So Monday the 13th. Now, I always put out my clothes for the next day, the night before. It just saves me a whole lot of time. I can think more clearly the night before than I can if I'm trying to do it in a rush in the morning. So I always do that. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I have this tendency to not be able to imagine myself feeling a different way than I did that day. So for example, if I found myself very warm one day, I think, well, probably tomorrow I'll also feel like that. And that's what happened on Sunday. I felt quite warm on Sunday. It was a beautiful sunny day. I was in sunlight a lot of the day. And yeah, and I thought, well, I'll probably feel like that again tomorrow. And when I chose my outfit, I layered a shirt dress and I put just a bamboo t-shirt underneath as a layering piece, leggings, and then flat shoes, not boots. And I have to say I was freezing for most of the day actually. And I think the rooms that I was in did not help the situation either. They were far too cold. So this was not a very comfortable outfit for most of the day. I was very, very glad to have a shawl with me. So on Monday or yesterday, the 13th, I had on the Alea shirt dress, which is a pattern by two designers. They collaborated for this one, Marsha Style and So La La Patterns. You can make it as a shirt or a dress. There's a few different variations. So I've made the dress version and I used a fabric that I got from the Variety Hour warehouse sale. So it's a beautiful oversized protea print, and yeah, I really love this print and I love the dress actually, and I wear it a lot, but I think in future I'm going to keep this one to warmer weather. Perhaps in the spring, summer, it's going to get a lot more wear. It's made of a viscose linen blend. It just was not warm enough. So over the top of this, I was lucky I'd taken a shawl. I took with me my most recent completely finished shawl make, which is the glittering Snowscape shawl by West Knits. This was the winter knit along. What's it called? The Hyber knit along, which I knit over from about the very, very end of December through till the middle of March, I think, from memory. A beautiful pattern. I would highly recommend it. I loved every single stitch of this one. So I don't think the colors go all that well together, the dress and the shawl, but I really couldn't have cared less. I just wanted to be cozy. And I wore this for a lot of the day. So very, very happy to have this one with me. At this time of year, I do tend to just throw a shawl into my bag and just have that. You just never know what the temperature is going to be in the office or in a room that you end up going to, or if I need to walk outside. It's just nice to have that extra layer to throw on if I need it. And that brings us to today, the 14th. So I'm still wearing the top I went to school in, but I have removed my other layer and put on some tracksuit pants, my Chanterelle tracksuit pants again. Now this is a new make for me as well. This is the Freya top by Tilly and the Buttons, and it's in the stretch book. I've actually reduced the size of this neckband because I've made it before, and it's usually a bit higher, but I would find that it's a bit too high and then I had to fold it down. So on this version, I just made it shorter. And I've made it in a jersey from Dupes Designs that I bought last year. I think it's a really nice fabric and pattern pairing. And I wore this today with the other Aura Pinafore that I was talking about before, the one that I made in a navy blue corduroy. This is so cozy to wear. I think after yesterday being so cold all day, I decided I wanted to be very warm today. I was definitely wearing boots. I was definitely wearing a lot more fabric, a lot warmer fabric. I had a before school rehearsal today early in the morning, and I did get a little bit warm, mainly because I was actually moving choir risers. That was quite a physical job. But once that was done, I was comfortable for the rest of the day. I did also take another layer today. I took the Marlo sweater again, which I had on for parts of the day. But yeah, I was comfortable all day today in this outfit. I think the Freya top pairs really nicely with the Aura Pinafore, just because of how low that V is I talked about before. So having something nice and high to sort of balance that out works really nicely, but it also just provides that warmth that I'm looking for on these cooler days. One thing I'm really trying to do this month is to pay attention to whenever I'm thinking, I wish I had such and such to put on, or this would have been really handy if I had this. And the thing that I remember thinking this week was a layer to wear with my new Aura Pinafore, that was that sort of halfway point between a t-shirt and like a long sleeve top like this. So I'm thinking of perhaps making a Dawson top, which is a Helen's Closet pattern, or I could just make a Freya again, but just making it with a shorter sleeve. So nice and fitted, warm, high neck, in a jersey, but with a short sleeve. I think that would be really handy. I'd be able to wear it with the Aura Pinafores. Also having a neck like this, a lot of my knitted jumpers have quite high necks. So if I was to make it in a color that went well underneath those, that could work well under those as well. So that's something I'm going to add to my wish list of things to consider making in the coming months. I've had another really fun week of putting my outfits together, and I'm looking forward to week 3, and I hope you'll join me again next week as I continue this little series. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.